Good afternoon from the KUOW newsroom. This is Seattle Now. I'm Patricia Murphy with today's top stories. It's Tuesday, May 19th. The man charged with the murder of UW student Juniper Blessing is expected back in court this week and will have a chance to respond to the charges against him. Casey Martin reports.
Prosecutors are seeking a prison sentence of 20 to 29 years for Christopher Leahy. The 31-year-old Bellevue man was charged Monday in King County Superior Court with first-degree murder with a deadly weapon. Seattle police say he stabbed UW student Juniper Blessing to death last week in the laundry room of her apartment building.
The details in the charging documents are pretty hard to read.
Casey McNerthney is a spokesperson for the prosecutor's office.
Very hard for, I'm sure, the family and anybody who loved Juniper and anybody who has any even a remote connection to the UW campus to read those details.
Charging documents say that Leahy followed a different person into the laundry room who left before Leahy found and killed Blessing. Leahy, who's being held on a $10 million bail, will have the chance to face his charges in court on Thursday morning. Outside of the King County Jail, I'm Casey Martin, KUOW News.
King County is now planning to involve law enforcement into their probe of misused tax dollars. The action comes after a number of county investigations uncovered potential fraud by some contractors. The Seattle Times reports suspected cases of likely fraud will be referred to law enforcement for investigation. An audit found contractors who worked with the Department of Community and Human Services may have been improperly paid. Federal investigators revealed today that a Boeing cargo jet that crashed in November had a cracked part that had broken 10 times in the past. That Louisville, Kentucky crash killed 15 people, including 3 UPS crew members who were on the plane and 12 others in nearby warehouses. According to the Seattle Times, UPS blames Boeing for the crash. Boeing had told operators the cracked part, known as a spherical bearing race, was not a safety threat. The National Transportation Safety Board's 2-day hearing on the crash continues tomorrow. Washington's newest state Supreme Court justice will be on the ballot in the fall, despite taking office just this week. State government reporter Sarah Mises-Tan has more.
Theo Angeles joins the court with no past experience as a judge, but with over 2 decades as an intellectual property lawyer. Governor Bob Ferguson appointed him to the Supreme Court bench to replace retiring Justice Barbara Madsen. But governor appointees can only serve until the next election, so Angeles will be on the ballot in November. Angeles previously worked with Governor Ferguson when he was a lawyer and also during his time as an attorney general. He's the first justice of Middle Eastern descent to serve on the Supreme Court. Voters will see a crowded field of Supreme Court candidates on their fall ballots, as a record number of seats are up for election this year. In Olympia, I'm Sarah Mises-Tan.
We've learned that most of the 300 corporate employees who Starbucks is about to lay off work in Seattle. Data from the State Employment Security Department shows 252 local workers will be let go starting in July. Starbucks announced the layoffs last week after revealing earlier this month it was eliminating 61 corporate tech roles. Most of the affected employees in this latest round of layoffs work in mid to senior level corporate positions. All this comes 1 month after Starbucks announced it was opening a new corporate office in Tennessee. Hundreds of thousands of visitors from around the world are expected to flock to the Puget Sound region this summer for 6 World Cup matches. Ahead of the events, the city of SeaTac is making sure local hotels are prepared to respond to opioid overdoses. KNKX reporter Mitch Borden has the story.
The city of SeaTac expects that its approximately 30 hotels will be filled with international visitors this summer who are here for the World Cup. But that could mean hospitality workers may encounter foreign guests who have overdosed on opioids. That's why the city is distributing the opioid reversal medication, naloxone, to local hotels, along with instructions on how to use it. Will Lugo is the city's emergency management administrator.
They could stumble in across somebody that's overdosed and not know what to do. So I think educating and training the frontline workers is valuable to save lives.
Along with naloxone kits, SeaTac hotels will have resources for foreign guests, such as how to call 911. I'm Mitch Borden, reporting.
There was lots of low-tide excitement at Edmonds Marina Beach. Groups of school children have been getting a close-up look at sea cucumbers and anemones. They've been washing up around Puget Sound beaches during one of the lowest tides of the year. The extreme low waters let people witness things like sea stars and spaghetti worms that are usually hard to see. Naturalists urge tide pool visitors to tread lightly and take only photographs. If you miss this week's low tides, don't fret. The next one should come to Puget Sound around June 15th. You can plan ahead. To end the show today, a remembrance. We're learning more about the life of Juniper Blessing, a 19-year-old University of Washington student who was killed at an off-campus student housing facility. As Noelle Gasca reports, Blessing left a legacy of kindness in Seattle and Santa Fe.
The heaviest part of Juniper was her hair. She had this huge, thick head of hair, and she had this absolutely massive voice.
That's Savannah Rutherford, Juniper's private voice instructor at the UW. Blessing sang in the university chorale, but Rutherford said Blessing didn't want to be a music major. She picked atmospheric science instead.
She wanted to study hurricanes, and it was because it's an ongoing crisis that she could hop on this moving train and make a difference by studying these evolving and intense weather patterns.
Juniper's tender kindness was an innate part of her. Kevin Bowen, the executive director of the Human Rights Alliance in Santa Fe, Juniper's hometown, says her mom shared a story with him. One day, when Juniper was little, a hummingbird hit a skylight on her home and died.
And Juniper went out, grabbed it, put it in her hand, and went and dug a little grave for it.
She planted a flower on top, so the hummingbird would always have something to eat. Noelle Gasca, KUOW News.
Thank you for listening to Seattle Now. That's all for today from the KUOW Newsroom. Our producer's Andy Hurst, and I'm Patricia Murphy. Seattle Now and KUOW are members of the NPR network.